Fourth Amazon Summit concluded this Wednesday in Brazil with the participation of presidents and heads of delegations from the 8 countries of the region, as well as guests from Asia and Africa. The participants in the environmental event released a joint statement of the forest developing countries with 10 central axes of what should be the environmental policy to follow. The participants recognized the paramount contribution of indigenous peoples and local communities, reaffirmed their commitment to the preservation of forests, and called for reducing deforestation and forest degradation. This statement also pointed out that climate change is already affecting tropical forests around the world and that international cooperation is the most effective way to reduce environmental damage. The Amazon bloc countries made an appeal to developing countries to exercise a greater influence on the management of resources intended for the conservation and sustainable use of biodiversity. The President of Brazil, Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, in an intervention during the working meeting of the second day of the Amazonian Summit, noted that throughout the event, a very positive dialogue has been materialized between the 8 nations that make up the region.
The summit started actually on Saturday. And throughout the summit, we were able to establish an excellent dialogue between the 8 countries.
Esta sociedad ha demostrado una capacidad y una competencia extraordinarias de discutir los temas amazónicos. Además, quiero referirme al hecho
I would
extraordinario
also
de
like to
haber
highlight
reunido a los presidentes de Sudamérica,
the importance of the fact that we have here reunited the heads of state of the main countries who are bordering the Amazonas.
And Lula advised that the measures must be taken to care not only for the Amazon, but also for the world among all countries.
To create a set of measures to protect not only the biggest green area in the world, but the rest of the forest throughout the world. What we have accomplished here in this summit are only a few steps, but we need to keep working and we need to keep investigating and joining forces in effort to be able to solve the current crisis.
On Wednesday, on his closing remarks at the 4th meeting of the Amazon Cooperation Treaty Organization, Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva vowed to protect the rights of the indigenous peoples living in the Amazon area by all the necessary means.
We need to take into account that one of the most precious areas that we have here in Brazil is where the indigenous people live, and that's why we take into account their thoughts and concerns. We are going to take all the necessary measures to protect the environment, even if that includes the military police, in order to achieve this. This would represent a great challenge, taking into account that this is not a small territory, it's quite big, so it would take a lot of effort from authorities and professionals. We also need, and we are working very hard on this, we are trying to expel criminal bands from the Amazonic area.
During his press conference, Brazilian Foreign Minister Mauro Vieira highlighted the relevance of this summit, which included the presence and support of important sectors of the civil society.
I would also like to add that this conference is of great importance and relevance because of the level of participation. That is why I said it has been one of the most important presidential summits within the ACTO, because there was as well an unprecedented presence from members of the civil society. Those who were here have seen that from Friday to Sunday, talks were heard with the civil society, the Amazonian talks, which were very intense and very representative, very numerous, with over 400 events and series of plenaries. Today, 6 representatives, one from each area, presented their report from their talks to the ACTO heads of the states.